Good morning and welcome to this video. Today we're going to be looking at the Maze Runner, and for those of you following on Show My Homework, this forms the last two tasks of this week, and I've split it into two and you'll see what I mean in just a second. So I've taken an extract from this little short dystopian book. It's been made into a film, that's where this picture's from. I'm not going to read the whole thing, I'm just going to go through this first couple of paragraphs and lines with you. So Maze Runner, chapter 1. He began his new life standing up, surrounded by cold darkness and stale, dusty air. Metal ground against metal. A lurching shudder shook the floor beneath him. He fell down at the sudden movement and shuffled backward on his hands and feet, drops of sweat beading on his forehead despite the cool air. His back struck a hard metal wall. He slid along until he hit the corner of the room. Sinking to the floor, he pulled his legs up tight against his body, hoping his eyes would soon adjust to the darkness. With another jolt, the room jerked upward like an old lift in a mine shaft. Harsh sounds of chains and pulleys, like the workings of an ancient steel factory, echoed through the room, bouncing off the walls with a hollow, tinny whine. The lightless elevator swayed back and forth as it ascended, turning the boy's stomach sour with nausea. A smell like burnt oil invaded his senses, making him feel worse. He wanted to cry, but no tears came. He could only sit there, alone, waiting. My name is Thomas, he thought. That was the only thing he could remember about his life. Okay, the extract does go on, and I'm not going to read it to you. I will attach it so you'll be able to read it. So let's jump into the tasks that I've set for you. So the first part of the task, I just wanted to sit and read the entire extract. It's only maybe 2 or 3 sides on the document, so it's not particularly long, and it is quite a good extract from a book that I quite enjoyed. Once you've done that, I'd then like to explode the quotes that I've highlighted. So when I'm talking about that, I think there's 4 or 5. There's a few here, and then there's a few more as the extract goes on. While you're exploding those quotes, I want you to be thinking about the idea of fear, because I think that's really what the writer was trying to create. So if I just show you one that I prepared earlier. Oh, I've lost it. There it is. So, thinking about fear, and this comes from the first line of the extract. So some things to think about. The fact that it starts off with a pronoun, that he, I think that's creating a sense of mystery. It's unknown. We don't know who this person is. We don't know why they're there. We don't know their name at this point. Later we'll find out it's Thomas. But it's very mysterious, and it introduces that character straight away before giving us any description of where he is and what he is doing. The next bit I looked at was this new life, this idea everything has changed, nothing will ever be the same. We've got no description of his past, no description of his future, only what is with him at the moment. And what is with him at the moment is essentially nothing. This surrounded, this verb, this idea of him being trapped and he cannot escape from, we find out it's a lift that is in, but it's filled with cold darkness and stale, dusty air. So this little triplet creates this almost really tight feeling of him being in a vacuum where there's no other things, there's no light, there's no colour, there's no anything really, and that's, I think, the most terrifying thing. It's the complete state of the unknown. There's nothing that he can really quantify, and he can't feel out and reach for anything. So that's one of the quotes. I've picked that quote explosion apart. I've missed doing these quote explosions. If you're doing this on paper, use highlighters, use some colour, make this look really good, because that's one of the things that I'm really missing is seeing that beautiful work in people's books. Once you've done that, once you've picked apart your quote explosions, the second part of the task is this. So in 3 paragraphs, I would like you to answer the question, how does the writer use language to create a sense of fear in the extract? And I've said topping answers are going to include the following things. So this idea of a thesis statement, that 3 ideas or 3 moments using 3 synonyms or forms of fear. So you might want to go on Google, look up different words for fear. You might want to have a think, what kinds of fear are being presented in this extract. And then in your paragraphs themselves, we're thinking about the normal things. So what the writer is trying to do or what the writer is trying to create. How do they create it? What techniques are they using? What subject terminology can you use to support this answer? Then I want you to think about why the writer has done this. And that's really where the best answers get into great detail. They think they've used this word here because the writer might have used this word here because it makes the reader think this. Or this metaphor has been used here because it might make a reader think this. Those are the really top answers. Okay, so I hope that's nice and self-explanatory for you. If you've got any questions, do get in touch. I will speak to you soon. Stay safe.